All right, new expansion's about to come out. Just kind of wanted to go over this last season, characters I ended up playing, just kind of my thoughts about them and everything like that. I think I might start doing this. I kind of wish I would have done it from the beginning. I could have had all my thoughts on all my characters because I play every season and whatnot. But anyway, let's just jump into it. I'm just basically doing this just to like keep an archive for myself that I can go back and look at if I want. I don't know, whatever. So the first character I started with was I played a Flurry Rogue because when the game very first came out, one of the rogue builds that I played was a Flurry Barrage build, I think it's, no, it's Rapid Fire. Flurry Rapid Fire, you kind of combine the two or whatever, because you would get pretty decent AoE, and then you'd also get a good single target with a Rapid Fire. But Flurry's just not been very good, and they changed it a bunch, and they gave it this thing where when you use it, you can basically teleport instantly, like pretty far away, and then it also heals you. So, Flurry's not like the worst spell in the world or whatever, but it's like not all that great. But basically, being able to like teleport like that, like it's just super cool. It was really fun just jumping around everywhere. Um, yeah, really just had a bunch of fun. This is what I ended up starting as like when the season first started, because with Flurry, you basically don't really need any gear like codex, anything like that. So it was like a good starter build to just run around and, you know, just to start whatever, super easy. Nothing really too crazy about the build or whatever. And I'm not going to go into like super in depth with like my Paracorn build, Paragon or anything like that, because really for the most part, like my stuff is just like taken off of like Maxroll websites or whatever. So it's not like, I don't really want to go into like that too in depth with it. It's not really the purpose of it, but yeah, overall had a lot of fun. It's not like the best build or whatever, but decently fun just to, do whatever. Then I ended up making a barb because I don't even remember why I started to do a barb. I think they like buffed whirlwind or whatever, and I was like, oh, I'll do this. I did double swing barbarian the season before, with like the tornadoes and everything, and had some fun. But this time I decided to do the whirlwind variant just because, I guess, because like I said, I think it was like supposed to be buffed or whatever, and I guess overall it is. And so, the barb was like fine and everything like that. Leveling is just absolutely atrocious though on barbarian. Like I don't even care about leveling on druid, but barb is just like the worst ever. The only thing that saved me was the seasonal reward thing or whatever. When you go down here, I turned it in, and on one of like the very early ones, I got the unique weapon for death blow, where if you kill someone, it resets the cooldown, and it had like 500 strength on it or something crazy. So like without that drop though, I don't know if I would have been able to actually like level this class. I was like about to give up because of how painful leveling was. Um, but then I had that, and it just like carried me all the way through. And now I'm basically at the point where, I can just hold right click down and just, I basically always have fury, everything like that. But my problem with this build is the same problem that I had even with the double swing, where the whirlwind itself basically doesn't do anything, and all of your damage is predicated on the tornadoes actually hitting something. So at least when you do double swing, you can basically sit there and aim it, and it's kind of like you're playing a pseudo range build in a way. Versus whirlwind, it really does just kind of go, in random directions. And there are some things you can do with like terrain manipulation, like Duriel, for example. If you stand way up at the top, like since it's just like walls, like if I was like in this corner right here, for example, like the whirlwinds, like the tornadoes would go out this way because there's no like path to go that way. So you can like sort of like do little things like that to aim it. But especially like this season with the infernal hordes and everything, which is another reason why I wanted to do whirlwind, because I was like, oh, well, you're in a tight little area, I'm just going to spin in a circle and kill everything, which is basically what happened. But even then, it's like when you start doing the higher tiers of the infernal hordes and everything like that, um you can't control where the tornadoes are going or whatever, and that's like all your damage. So if the tornado is hitting stuff, okay, cool, then you'll kill it. But if it's not hitting stuff, then it just feels really bad. And also barb just wasn't that great this season. So overall, like, I still had a good time and everything. It was decently fun, but I don't know, I just really missed the Hoda barb ban. That was just like the most fun I've ever had in this game, and nothing really comes close to it, especially for barb. I just don't really like the rest of the skills, unfortunately. Maybe that's just because Hoda was just so insanely overpowered or whatever, but I don't know. I wish I never even really tried to do a Hoda build. Maybe Hoda is still like somewhat manageable, but I don't know. Then I ended up doing playing this druid here and doing a build that I'd wanted to do for a really long time, where you're basically like in wolf form because of your Tempest Roar, but you use Lightning Storm and shoot around whatever anyway. And this build was awesome. This is like one of my favorite builds that I've ever done, as I'm about to show you in a second. Like, you just basically run around, shoot lightning. Yeah, yeah, you just got to see this, man. Like, you're running around, you're shooting lightning everywhere. It's a whole lot of fun. And then also with this, I forget what it's called, but there's basically a passive where it's like, if you are in like, the whole thing is like, you want to be in bear form and wolf form for a certain amount of time, and you get a massive damage multiplier. I think it's right here. Yeah, damage increase for being a werebear or whatever. It is an absolutely massive damage increase. I think it's like literally 50% or something like that. I don't know. I don't have a PhD. But it's absolutely insane. And I mean, look at this build. Like, you're just running around, you're super fast because of the werewolf stuff, and then you just like right click off the screen and it pretty much kills everything. And yeah, I mean, I absolutely love this build. The spirit stuff can be rough for a while, but once you get your spirit under control and everything like that, as long as you have something to actually hit and to kill, you just get so much spirit. I mean, look at this. Like, of course, this is just like, you know, I'm in Helltide, so they're only like level 103 or whatever, but this is one of my favorite builds I've ever played. It's just easy. It's fun. You're just absolutely deleting everything. And yeah, I'm really glad I actually finally went through with it and made this build, because in the past I was always want to, but I run into the problem that, I mean, I still run into with any time I play this game. The one thing I hate, especially on Druid, is you're so tied to these uniques. Like, this build without Tempest Roar, like, I mean, you can like play Lightning Storm or whatever, but like, it just sucks. And then it's like, okay, you're playing the whole game and you just need this one unique. And then, you know, look at my rolls on this. Like, it's not even that good. It's only 16% chance to get Spirit. Like, if that was, you know, a max roll or a way better roll, like, you'd basically always have Spirit, everything like that. So it's like, okay, you need the unique, and then you just need to get the same unique over and over and over again, getting the better roll. But, you know, so you can target farm the bosses and everything, but then if you don't get what you want, it just sucks, because then you have to get all the mats and stuff again. And so, you know, I would build up and like get a bunch of these mats to try to target farm like the specific boss, and you don't get what you want, blah, blah, blah. And like, yeah, that's the whole point of an ARPG, like, you're farming for loot and gear and stuff like that. It just sucks, man. Like, it's just really unfortunate that stuff like this, it's gated behind that, and then getting something like that, like a roll like that can make such a big difference, especially with your spirit and everything, then you just don't get it, and it can be really frustrating. Or, you know, with this, like, causing lightning to strike twice, dealing 24%, like, I don't even have very good rolls on this stuff, but, you know, it is what it is. These boots are really awesome, but same thing, like, I'm level 100 something, and I have a sacred, you know, these are sacred, the item power is 725, because I just didn't find an ancestral pair that was better, or if I got an ancestral that was better, you know, that's a perfect roll on the bottom of it, so it's like a massive difference not using it. And then this right here, this Hunter Zenith is like absolutely insane, because, you know, gain a bonus when you kill the shape-shifting skill. So basically, when you're a werewolf and you kill something, because of your Tempest Roar, the lightning is also a werewolf skill. So every time you kill something, you can press Debilitating Roar or Trample or whatever, and you know, then that turns you into it heals you, and it has no cooldown. So you can Debilitating Roar, kill something, Debilitating Roar, kill something, Debilitating Roar. And so by doing that, it allows you to keep this passive up down here, which is the Bestial Rampage. After being where for 2 seconds, you do 50% increased damage for 15 seconds. That's crazy. So you just, you know, you press your Debilitating Roar, which fortifies you, so you can just spam it and it heals you. Then you can get max fortify, so you can get all like the damage bonuses from being fortified or whatever. And then you get the damage bonus from this. And then when you do that for 2 seconds, then you're running around as a werewolf. So then you pretty much always have the werewolf one, right? Because when you're using your lightning storm, you're in werewolf form. So this ring is like huge. This is like such an amazing item. And yeah, just makes this build really crazy and awesome and fun. But essentially this build comes down to, you know, you got quite a bit of uniques, and then it's like, okay, hopefully I just hit the same unique over and over again that's just slightly better than the one I got before. And I don't know, it can just be frustrating sometimes. But overall, I had a lot of fun with this build. Basically none of these characters I didn't do anything crazy or push anything high with until you get to here, because then eventually, you know, so I made all these characters and I finished the season journey, like board or whatever, where you turn in your favor or whatever it is. And so at the very end, you get 1 Resplendent Spark each. So at the end I was actually able to make a Shaco here. So then I ended up doing like the lightning spear build, which is like, you know, the build that came out on top of being crazy and everything. And, you know, I have like 1800 crit, so I'm not even close to like really being min-maxed. And this is really the first time, even since the tempering system came out, or masterworking or whatever, that I actually like tried to masterwork my stuff. Like a lot of stuff is masterworked like an okay amount. And so yeah, I was like, you know, getting pretty powerful. You know, my build and stats is decent, but I had like 100 million gold. I had like 850 million gold, and I would temper this thing because I'm trying to get it to land on the cooldown reduction, right? To have more cooldown reduction, because like this build is very centered on you need certain CDR breakpoints and then your crit damage breakpoints and everything like that, right? So my crit damage isn't perfect or anything, but it's like very good. Like that's pretty respectable. But the CDR is just like such a big thing. And I went from like 800 million gold down to what it is now. And I could not get it to land on CDR like more than once. I'd get it to hit the first time, and then I would try to reset it, and I just couldn't. Then having to go do the more Infernal Hordes, blah, 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 just trying to do that over and over again and spending like 700 million gold. I was just like, I couldn't do it anymore. And that's basically what got me to stop playing the season, was because I was just tired of doing it. Just that RNG over and over again was just too frustrating. Then it'd also make it to where if it hit it the first time, I got a lot stronger because the CDR, right? So it's like every time I would stop doing that, my build would get a lot worse because I wouldn't hit the right breakpoints and everything like that. Yada yada yada. It was just frustrating. And after a while, I just got sick of it, didn't want to do it anymore. The other thing too is that this fractured winter glass, I could not get it to drop. I couldn't get it to drop. So at first I was doing the fireball sork, which is like really awesome. That build was like super fun and really good. But I wanted to try to do this build, right? Especially once I got Shaco for the CDR, I was like, okay, let me try to do it. I could not get this to drop. I couldn't do it. I farmed Zir probably 30 to 40 times and never got a single fractured winter glass. I got this from a goblin drop, a treasure goblin, because it was like a treasure goblin event or whatever for like the 1 year anniversary, I think. And that's what dropped this. And when it did drop, the most important part is the conjuration cooldowns are reduced by your frozen orbs. You really don't want a low roll, because it's like, that's like the most important thing is have, and it was the lowest possible roll, as you can see. And so when I masterworked it, I got lucky. Actually, the fact that it actually hit that and increased it even to 0.3, which even made this even slightly remotely possible for me to do it all. So again, same issue that I have with Druid, where it's like you want to do these builds and you need a unique, and if you just don't get the unique, you're just screwed. There's just literally nothing you can do. You just can't do the build, essentially. And then on top of that, it's like all my luck that I didn't have for never hitting the CDR, I guess I got on this, the fact that it hit that as many times as it did, because without that, I just literally could not have been able to play this build. But all in all, I did really like this build because, you know, you just click Lightning Spear and it kills everything, and the Lightning Spear actually travels really fast. It flies around pretty quick, so you can really, like, you can be running as fast as possible, teleporting everywhere, and it kills everything and keeps up with you, which is really nice, like if you're doing Nightmare Dungeons or whatever. And then, you know, the Infernal Horde, you just stand there basically and it just kills everything, which is great. But this is what, like, I did like the highest tiers of like this sort of stuff, like tier 7, tier 8. I was able to do that pretty comfortably. But then, you know, if I wanted to reset this, didn't have a CDR roll, I might have to drop down because I couldn't. I've already explained it. But yeah, overall, I think the Hoda Barb from like season 2 or whatever is probably the most powerful character I've ever made still. But this like might be number 2. But ultimately, because I couldn't hit the CDR thing, whatever, and I rolled like 700 million gold, everything like that. And then still, this is the only Fractured Winter Glass I've ever gotten. I've never gotten another one. And yeah, it's just, even just on this character alone, I have 25 hours played. You know, it's just, I don't know. That's the stuff about this game that I really, really hate, where you want to do these builds, and like there should be like chase builds, stuff like that, right? Where it's like you need these like crazy items to be able to pull it off and everything. That's cool and everything. But man, it is so incredibly frustrating when you don't get it. And then the whole tempering system too as well. Like they're changing it next season with like, so I think it'll be a little bit better and easier to be able to like try to reset your stuff or whatever. But man, it's just so painful, man. It really is. But all in all, I mean, I still liked the season, everything. It was fun. Sorcerer, I think I wanted to try to do the Chain Lightning Sorcerer, but the same thing. I just couldn't get the uniques or whatever, and so I never even really attempted it. I was doing Blizzard for a while, and then I got like a bunch of the Fireball uniques from the seasonal journey thing, so then I did a Fireball build, and that build was insanely strong and really good, so I had no really complaints there, and then I did that until I got to Lightning Spear. But all in all, there's just nothing about the Sorcerer that I really love, and that's just kind of my issue right now, where it's like Rogue, I don't like most of the range skills. But with the new spin to win rogue, whatever that's coming out next season, I'm definitely gonna try that, and hopefully I like it. The barb, again, same thing. There's just none of the spells that I really like that are just like very satisfying to me that I even want to play. And really a lot like same with druid, where it's like I do like that build that I just made, but just farming the uniques and everything like that is just it's just really painful, man. It really is. So next season I was gonna make a rogue first and do the spin to win thing. Everyone's gonna play Spiritborn, but I was just gonna make a rogue and go from there and just gonna see what it is. But after looking at all the Spiritborn videos and stuff on YouTube, I'm just gonna make a Spiritborn first like everyone else because it's just gonna be the most powerful build or whatever. And I'm gonna do the lightning quill build. That one like seems like more up my alley, so I'm gonna do that. But yeah, I'm excited for the next season and everything. I think I'm just gonna do this as like a basically like an audio journal for myself, I guess, if I want to reminisce on what I'm doing. But yeah, all in all, good season and everything. But I don't know. A lot of the skills just aren't very satisfying to me. But oh well.